First off, man, thanks for coming on. Um, Not a knock to any of your coaches or anything. I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while.
Yeah.
Um, it like obviously big name in the states. Um, big name. Not only in the states but in your classification and everything that you've done so far. Uh, Really interesting. Really want to pick your brain. So I'm glad we finally were able to link up and get this thing going. One of the big things that I always kind of start off with is uh, just like hobbies. Like like who are you outside of running? What do you kind of do?
Hobbies. I like doing outdoor stuff, but in Lexington there's not much to do, you know? It's a tough one. Probably just like hang out with my friends and just like mess around, like doing teenager stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, that's literally all we used to do. We just hang out at a guy's house and just chill. I couldn't even tell you what we did. We played like wiffle ball in the backyard sometimes, or like go onto the beach. I had a buddy. He's my best friend. He was on the team and he lived right on the beach, and we literally would just sit there and do nothing all day, play chess, some random stuff. But yeah, no, I feel you on that, man. Um, how'd you get started in running? How did all that happen?
Okay, so I used to play soccer, right?
Of course.
Yeah. And it was like eighth grade year I was playing JV since you can't play varsity in middle school. So I was playing JV, and then I had friends that ran, and so like wait, after eighth grade this summer, one of my friends, Paul, invited me to summer conditioning, and it was like I didn't really like the running aspect then, but it was like super fun, The team environment was like you would go to a practice, you wouldn't be the one talking first,
Yeah,
And
no, for sure.
and then so like yeah, that's basically how I started.
Yeah, that's funny. It's like, surprisingly, I haven't had too many guys come on here recently that have like said they made the switch over, but it is such a common occurrence of soccer players turning cross country runners. It's always funny how that happens, and it's kind of weird though too, because like, I mean, soccer is not saying that running is not a sport, but just there's like just technical skills that kind of have to go into it a little bit more. It's just fun. I think I don't know though. Did you feel like you were burnt out a little bit from just playing soccer, and that's why you made the move too? Or
I mean, soccer was like it was really fun, but I feel like I could do a lot better in running, because some of these kids playing soccer are just,
insane?
yeah, different level.
Yeah, no, that's for sure too. So I want to talk about cross country last season, cross 24. Obviously, the PR 1527. You unlock definitely a new level. I think like 1530. When you go sub 1530, you really kind of start knocking down some doors a little bit. I think the sub 1520 is kind of like really the next one that's like you really kind of start making a staple for yourself at some of like the bigger national meets and whatnot. When you ran 1527, were you expecting it? Was it something like during the summer training you were kind of seeing that like, hey, this is something that could happen, like I'm running faster in easy runs or tempos or anything?
Um, it wasn't like leading up to it, it wasn't like something different, but um that morning like my legs felt really like empty, like there was like no stress on anything. And so when I went into it, it was just I don't know, it was just like follow the person in front, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, no. When you're doing that, do you hear like coaches or parents like tell you where you're at? Like, did you know even through the first mile, like, hey, something is here today? Like, I'm running a bit faster, or you were just kind of like focused in?
So sometimes I hear like separate voices, but it's usually just kind of like background noise. And then, so on my watch, I have something like where each mile it'll like beep or something. And then I can have a quick glance down and show the split. So that was pretty nice. But the first mile, I was like everybody went out super fast. There was like a group of like four or five that went out outrageously fast, and I was just hanging on the back for that first section of the race.
Dang. Yeah, it's kind of funny how like some of this, I feel like especially with PRs, you don't really, I don't want to say you don't expect it, but sometimes you really just don't expect it. I remember like my PR, the first mile, like similar. I had no idea what we were doing, and I was just kind of getting carried by the pack, and it's like, oh crap, we just went through at like it was like 5:05, and I'm like, okay, it's like, well, I guess we're doing 5:05 today. Like something's happening today. So no, I get what you're saying there. Um, Two questions, they kind of go together. I guess we'll just get it out of the way with first. Newberry. What are your thoughts on Newberry? Do you like the course? Yes or no?
Um, uh, I've like I don't. It's a tough course, but I mean I've had some bad memories there. Yeah, it's pretty tough course.
Yeah, every person I ask, like when I first started the podcast, like, um, I've been out to Newberry a couple times, and it's one thing to run around with a camera; it's another thing to actually run the course. I never knew it was so rough for the athletes to be out there and to do it, and it wasn't until I started talking to everybody to really get a sense of like this course sucks. Like no, like nobody likes it. Nobody enjoys it. I think I've had one guy on here say that he actually enjoyed the course, but he PR'd on the course.
Okay, that,
So
yeah.
yeah, so you kind of got to give some leeway on that one too. Um, Obviously, states was there this past season. Hey, state runner up is nothing to shy away from. Congratulations on that one.
Thank you.
Um, how was that, man? How was that whole race? Was it something like were you eyeing the win? Like, did you have an idea of like, hey, today could be the day I become a state champion with that, or was that like nothing was on the radar of
I mean,
possibly winning?
I would say after that state qualifier race, it came into my mind a little bit, and then at the start, everybody gets out fast, and I was probably like in 20th place, like getting out wise. And then I think it was first mile, I was like 4:57 and I was still in the back. And then third second mile was like 5:03, I think. So we came in 10 I came in at 10 flat. By the second mile, I was in second, and then Brendan Hitchcock, the winner, he was in first. And then like I would say maybe like 2.7 I passed him, and then I was feeling good, since there was a downhill, and then I was getting greedy and I just took off. And then you know how when you go back up, you go back up the hill, and it looks like the finish line's closer than it is.
Yeah,
And so I was just running for my life, and then I turned the corner and I was like, he's gonna get me like sooner or later. And it was just sad for it to end that way.
yeah. No, that no. It's funny you mentioned all that too. Because really, it's kind of like, and we talked to him the other day. But it's always interesting because it's like when you kind of throw down a move like that, um, you kind of gotta just like you're either gonna go or you're not. Like you gotta kind of commit to it. Was there any time during that when you thought you kind of had it, like in the bag, like I'm gonna win, or and then it just kind of went sideways, or like did you feel good enough to make the move, or like I guess it's kind of weird because you can always look back now and be like, dang, I should have held like maybe held off just a little bit longer, but like at the time, did you feel like, oh, this is mine?
Um, I felt like I had like a good chance, because on the downhill I was feeling really good. And then like the fatigue was like really starting to set in on the hill, and then it was like he's gonna catch me sooner or later. The worst feeling is when you're getting hawked down, and you can't do anything about it. Like that's the absolute worst feeling in running by far.
Yeah, that's pretty funny because like everybody knows the feeling too. Especially when you can like it's crazy because I feel like somebody who doesn't run maybe just doesn't understand, but like when you hit that wall, it's like, oh no, like this is not good. And it's like, yeah, crawling, just
Yeah,
trying to crawl to the finish to get there. Um, but again, a good run, still second. It's not like you died off the face of the earth and ended up, 20th or 50th in the race. But you look back on it too, obviously coming back for next season. Both of you guys are coming back. And I think honestly his race was a little more I don't want to say shocking by any means. Um
smarter though. His
yeah, yeah, he ran the course very well. For what it was, and I think sometimes too, like especially with Newberry, you can't go into it thinking there's going to be PRs that day. You really got to go into it and be maybe tactical with it a little bit more.
there's no race on PR. There's no way I'm PRing on that.
Um, but you kind of also look at too, like especially again, like I said, going into next year, like Jacob Powell, like obviously he didn't have the best finish last year either, but uh, a good track season too, and we'll get into track here in a second. But yeah, going into even next season though, did that race give you a lot of confidence to be like, hey, I learned some lessons here. Now I know what to do. Now, like maybe next season is kind of the season I can kind of redeem myself on that one.
Yeah, totally, totally. It just gave me like idea that I can do this, like it's actually possible. Cause like at the start of the season, I was running like 16:20s. I mean that's not slow by any means, but like I didn't think that I could get second or anything. So that's pretty encouraging.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Get into track season now to track season 25. I'm gonna get you a little bit. I'm gonna get you a little bit on it. Um, how do you think? How do you think it went? We'll go there first.
It was it was disappointing after the cross country season I had. Um I mean I did get hurt for like 2 or 3 weeks, but I mean it's still disappointing.
Yeah, and it's funny because what's so funny, it's funny though because like my senior year, I came off like a really good cross country season, um, my junior season, and went into that senior season of like summer training and just like I threw it down, man. I was practicing with a bunch of guys like from all these different schools. We'd come together and run over the summer, getting in miles, doing a whole bunch of good workouts, like the best shape I've ever been in. Didn't PR the whole season.
No.
Yeah, I man, and it's like I woke up early as heck every morning, going down, driving like 20, 25 minutes down the road to the park, meet up with all the guys, went to summer camp with the guys, all this stuff, didn't PR. So it's like I get it, but then too, like you think about it, you got to go back and kind of like, okay, well, what are some things maybe I did wrong, things to work on for next season, whatnot. And so that's why I bring it up. It's no shade on you or anything, but it's definitely learning experiences. The 16, 428, 3200 was 936. Um, not slow, which is like the funny. It's funny because it's like again, it's funny because it's like we talk about these times and we're like those are good times, but like compared to what you ran in cross country and like the success you had in cross country, you're like, okay, something was up, something must have been up, and obviously you mentioned you were hurt for a couple weeks in there, and that makes a huge difference too. Do you think? And it's not like you're making an excuse or anything, but do you think that that played a big role into like some of the times?
I think after getting hurt, like I wasn't really in it, like as much. It was like cuz I was running after that I was running like 17-mile weeks, and it was just like my thoughts were I'm not fit right now. What am I doing? I'm wasting 2 hours of my day when I could be at home doing something else. It's just like when when you stop loving the sport, like you won't get better. Like you just won't.
Yeah, no, that's brings up a really good point too. It's like sometimes you do gotta just kind of take a break, even just shut it down um for more than usual. It gets funny because I think I keep saying it's funny. I don't know what's so funny about everything. Um, no, but it really is interesting because it's like there's like the general rule of taking like 2 weeks off, um, to start training for the next season. I told my son this season because he was dabbling in soccer and track last year. I said, "Hey man, like we're gonna take a month off. We're gonna take a whole month off and just mentally just be a kid, like just
Reset.
chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, reset, man. Like we got June, July, August, September, October, November. We got 6 months. Like there's no rush. Chill. Like you know what you can do and how you can train and get there and so that is something too. Like yeah, exactly. When you kind of start to not enjoy the sport as much, taking some time off and kind of resetting it is really key. Um, but yeah, that is just it speaks kind of volumes of there's more to it because I feel like a lot of people don't. Obviously, I didn't know that about you and what was going on, and there's a lot more that goes into it. It's interesting because like I go back to my season, um, I was ranked second going into the next year for my class because we had 8 seniors graduate in the top 10. I got 10th at state my junior year, so I'm going into the next season. I was like, oh man, like oh dude, this is my year. Like I'm gonna do it. And obviously, like I said, didn't even PR, didn't even get podium at state again. So there is a lot that goes into the sport. When when you kind of look at the 16 or the 32, do you feel like you're stronger in one versus the other, or what is kind of your sweet spot?
I would say the 32 because you have a lot more time to make decisions, you know? Like cross country, I'll be like, some guy passes me, I'll be like, oh, I'll pass him later. But like 1600, you can't really do that. I would say you get like maybe like two chances, two good chances. Yeah, so definitely the 32 over the 16.
Yeah, the 16, it's like you even look at the eight, like the eight, you really don't have any time to make a decision. You kind of got to either full send it or chill. Yeah, the 32, you definitely have a couple more chances of coming back and letting somebody take the lead for a while. Now, is it just because is it just because you have more opportunity to kind of catch up, or would you just feel more comfortable in the 32?
I feel more comfortable and like speed wise, I'm not that fast. Um, but like in the state, like 428 won't get you top like four or whatever. Like it's yeah, it's different.
Yeah, no, it is different. I mean, you have you done like an 800, like a 4x8 before, or like recently?
Um, I don't I don't think I did. I did race one 800 last season. It was like a
It was terrible.
it was a 216. I think it was after a we had like this home meet 3K and it's like I was so lactic. It was horrible.
It's funny because that's your stat, and it's like, oh man, now you have to rock with that time for
And,
until you do another eight, at least till next season. You need to just do an eight. Do like an open eight or something low key, and just like get that time out of there. Because you see like the 15,
yeah.
27, and you're like, oh my god, this guy is slow as rocks here in the 800. I mean, you probably go through faster in your
In my
uh
mile, yeah, I go through
yeah, in
fast.
the mile, you go through faster there. So that's what makes it even more like an oxymoron there. Um, Fifth at states for the 32. Obviously, like you said, it's definitely more comfortable for you, and that's honestly, I think that kind of redeems yourself for the whole season in itself. I mean, because the times will they'll get there. Obviously, um, but fifth, like you can't take that away. Was that was that something you were expecting too? Because again, I know you mentioned you were being hurt, so it's kind of hard to expect the world um, coming back from that too, and then kind of having the mental uh, stuff going on with it. Was that something you were expecting though?
Um, so like I expected a good time, but since I ran like 940 the week before in like qualifying, and that was just like feeling comfortable, and then like all out the last two laps. The 936, it was a brutal race though, because it was windy and it was like it just rained. Yeah, so I was expecting a time sort of like that. I was kind of bummed out since like All-State mark was like 931. And so that was disappointing, but after the race I was like it boosted my confidence. It brought me back up.
Yeah. No, and that's like that's probably the most important thing too. That's why I say like, yeah, the times aren't there, but like the fifth place finish definitely has to give you some confidence going into cross country. Um, did you notice a lot more guys kind of running fast times this year in track?
Yeah, yeah, it was like it's funny because the guys faster than me were like, besides Brendan and Jack Powell, like I was like, I'm getting beat by all these kids I just like beat by like 2 minutes this past season. And yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely some dark horses, man. For cross, I have done my fair share of like really digging into some results during track this summer, and there's there's like two or three that like, I mean, they had some really good track seasons and not the greatest cross country seasons last season, but you just, if they can translate it over, obviously have a good summer training. Like I think states for cross country next year or even just in the season, um, I think it opens up the door to like six, maybe seven guys that have like a legitimate shot. I mean, obviously you gotta go through the season and see because some. I mean, you could even end up running
yeah,
15:05, this year, and then it kind of weeds itself out. But there's definitely a lot more progress, I think, and it's cool that you say you kind of notice that as well.
yeah.
Um, I want to kind of talk about cross country coming up, summer training. Obviously, um, kind of after you kind of shut the door on track season 25. You took, I'm assuming, 2 weeks off or
Yeah.
2 weeks.
It was like 2.5, maybe three.
Yeah,
I think 2.5
yeah. Um,
of just like nothing. Like,
Nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's hey, like I said, man, that's important. That's important as heck. So the summer training, then, how's that been going? Obviously, the team is, um, I assume. I mean, you guys coming back pretty strong. But how is all the summer training going?
It's been great. I think it's been pretty solid for the most part.
Do you think like has anything changed from last summer training to this summer training, or is it kind of just, is it like similar run, similar kind of schedule, or did you bump the miles up at all?
It's similar schedule, a little more mileage. We've been doing like maybe like two doubles per week. So that's because last year I think I was like averaging 35 per week. Now I'm like 45 around there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I always ask a bunch of kids of like what they kind of do. I feel like, and nowadays people are so like, you don't have to run huge miles. I mean, there was a collegiate athlete who literally ran like 10 miles a week and she won NCAA's. Like, it's like, okay, like that's insane because I'm just from a time when it was like everybody's doing high miles. You have to do high miles and whatever. Um, Listening to you though, that's some of the lower, I'll be honest, like that's some of the lower miles that I've heard, but it works. It works for you. I also talked to a student athlete. He said there's no easy runs. Like easy runs are just no, there's no such thing as easy runs. He just runs hard every single run. Like, and I'm like, whoa. But I mean, it works for you, so you can't criticize. um, okay, so 35, 40 miles a week. How's the team? Do you see
35 last year,
not
45.
35, 45 this year? Um, the team, how is that going? Do you guys? Is it a good turnout this year for summer training or
There's I haven't been going a lot. I've been going to like probably like one or two runs a week with the team. Well, part of the reason because they wake up at 6:30 and I wake up at like 7. I run at 7.
oh
Yes.
wow. You're getting the some of the blunt force of the heat.
Yeah. That
Hey, but
that's
that's good though.
that's a big factor.
Yeah. I mean hey, that's good though. That's good. Cuz it definitely it prepares you. Definitely prepares you for some of the early months here. Um fourth in all classifications returning. Your team is sixth in 5A Division 1 returning. Do you look at rankings at all or is that something that's just like you don't really pay attention to?
Last year, freshman year and last year I really looked at them like all the time, and then at a certain point I was like I'm only going to look at these like once every 2 weeks cuz like I was just like looking at the top 20 list and be like why am I not running 1450, you know? And it was just to a point where I was like I need to get off this for my sake, you know?
No, that is true, man, true. I feel like rankings can definitely some I mean, hey, for some people it kind of it gets you a little agitated and then you could channel that into something. Um but yeah, then there's like the respect factor. Like they don't respect me enough. Like what's going on here? Or
Or some
maybe
like
maybe not fast enough in there.
I catch up on stuff like every like 3 weeks or so, like all the articles and so and so.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, yeah, still keeping kind of in it. I always find it interesting to hear um, whether or not people look at it because I think, like I said, it's you could be ranked number one and finish fifth at the state meet, or you could be ranked 13th and end up winning the whole thing. Rankings are always kind of going to be something where it's obviously it's not written in stone. You know, it can kind of lead some of the journey, but it's never concrete. Um, something that I have been kind of asking recently, and I wish I would have asked this like throughout the whole time I've started this podcast. Um, but advice, man. Do you have any advice for like, especially like middle schoolers, kind of starting up or incoming freshmen? Like, is there anything that you've seen that like that you've learned, and especially in the early years that like you're glad you did, or even things that you would have changed to where you are now?
Like I would just say have fun with it cuz like the second you start having like if you hate something, you're not going to be the best at it, you know? Like that's probably my advice. Just have fun. You can still be serious and have fun. So that's and you got to be consistent. You can't do one long run and then skip 3 days and then do another run. Like fitness doesn't work that way. But other than that, that's all I have really.
No, that's good. We're gonna coin that and sell that on t-shirts and not give you any profit. Just have fun. Just have fun. There you go. That's a good quote. That's a good quote. No, that's great, man. No, man, I agree. I agree. I think as soon as you kind of start getting out of love for the sport and it becomes so serious and you're not enjoying the laughs on the bus or you're not enjoying the weird stuff that goes on in the huddle, like and taking in the moment, like that's when it just becomes not fun and boring and yeah, I can't tell you how many. I mean, I'm sure you have them too. All the weird stories of somebody saying something at the start of the line, or the random stuff that goes on in the huddles. That's it's always what makes the sport fun and kind of gets you ready for the next year. But I appreciate you coming on, dude. Like I said, it's been a minute to try and get you on, and I'm really
Yeah,
glad that you came on. And
thank you.
um, yeah, dude, wish you the best of luck this season. Real quick before I let you go, goals. Do you have goals in mind for like the season, like time
Um,
wise, or
time,
nothing yet?
I mean, time wise, I would say I would want to go 15, like sub 15:10. But I mean, we race some difficult courses, so I don't really know about that. I at least want to be sub 15:20. That's a That's a strict goal I'm going for. And then I want to win state, of course. That's the ultimate goal.
Absolutely, man. Sub 1520. We're gonna look for 1510 in that range, and obviously, hey, state champion, state title. Let's go and get that too, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thank you so much.